All right, Shalom. This is W0MEN Yasha of the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakakadash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwati, my children, that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. It's going to be a quick on-the-go lesson, man. This is Proverbs 31 and 3. And it says, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings, man. All right. And what's some of the things that can destroy the judgment and the motivation of kings? And that's what the Lord calls us, kings and priests, right? And the scriptures say, be instructed, thy judges of the earth. All right. So that's, at some point you'll start to realize, like, damn, when you was in the world, you probably had a bunch of women, or your woman was into you more. But when you get into this truth, and the more conviction happens, or you start to rebuke people, or just anything, man, your demeanor changes, or you and your wife begin to separate, or your women, or you're not out here getting any women, no sex, no none of that. At some point, man, we got to accept it, man. All right, because the Lord may be keeping you chaste for a reason, to keep you focused, to keep you strong. And when we have that overly sexual appetite, they say the brain flows from the top of your body to the bottom. You feel me? And you might lose your scruples and not be thinking right, or get emotional, or give the woman strength over you. You start to desire her the same way you desire wine, or a strong drink or alcohol. And the scriptures say we're supposed to lose all those desires, man. The Lord gonna give us that in the kingdom. And real soon, man. Isaiah 4:1. 7 women shall take hold of one man. All right. And sometimes we forget that. We're still in the flesh, man. But it says, give not thy strength unto women. So should we blame the women for that? Sometimes, like, if you have a wife and she pulls away from you, or pulls up from under your authority, or begins to usurp authority over you, that's wrong. But what are we supposed to do in that situation? We're supposed to be seeking the Lord, day in and day out. Seek ye the kingdom of heaven first, and all things shall be added unto you. So it's dangerous in this society right now. There's all kinds of diseases out here. It's traps when it comes to having children, babies. So it's smart to just trust what the Lord is saying, what the scripture is saying. It says, if you're without a wife, desire not a wife. If you're with a wife, I'm going to get that, matter of fact, in a second. But give not thy strength unto women, meaning what? Don't give your strength, your focus, unto things of this world. All right? Should we blame the women that you're a distraction to me? You can say it to her, but what type of response you going to get back from that? It's up to you to not be distracted. It's up to you to be focused. And keep our eyes single. All right? And be that beacon that the Lord is calling us to be, man. That's our main purpose. And if we desire wisdom and desire her breasts and the milk, as the scriptures say, right? And be ravished with her love. All right? And it's not for you women to tell the man that, yeah, you supposed to desire the scriptures. Why are you desiring me? Your job is to desire your husband. A lot of these women are out of pocket today, man. But it's not about them. This scripture, a lot of people use this to blame the women. Well, really, it's a correction towards the men to not be desiring these things. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get it in the translation real quick just to be get it a little bit more clear. All right, but it ultimately sums up to your sexual appetite and alcohol. You know, these are things that can corrupt our judgment and leave you vulnerable. That's why they call wine spirits, right? It changes your spirit, man. And too much of it could leave you unhealthy, vulnerable to do something wicked or be taken advantage of, uh, by wicked people or a woman. They carry spirits. They've been with multiple men. Or they picking up spirits from the internet. They're all over the place. Or they might be with you one day and they mood swing, but they don't like the way you talk to them. So you can't. Our job is not to just blame them. Yeah, we got to correct them, but they're not gonna take correction, man. They're not going to take correction. They're going to find their own form of correction. They're going to look in the scriptures themselves, and you're telling them, hey, the Lord dealing with me. You got to get it through me. But they have their own correction. They'll start hitting you with scripture back and forth. So you can sit there and go back and forth with women, or you can sit there and wrestle over any vices, or we can just trust the Lord. And that's what we all being called to, trusting him. Not even ourselves, not even our desires. All right, so that's what the scripture means. Give not thy strength, or really your focus. All right, we are Yasha Allah. He is a prince with the power. If we're focused on our power, we're connected to our power, we have strength. But if you're always having sex, you're always trying to chase a woman out in the streets, chasing women, you're losing. All right, you're losing, you're not gaining. This is Proverbs 31:3 again. All right, in the translation, it says, don't spend all your energy. See, it takes a lot of energy to deal with women nowadays. You got to try to entertain them. They say, you ain't taking me nowhere. If you got to go on a date, or if you live with a woman, you're going to have to, it's a lot of pressure, a lot of arguments, right? A lot of debating, a lot of accusations, resentment. All right, and even if people are in love and they just happy in love, if they're not both mutually into the scriptures and the woman is learning from the man, then it's imbalance. All right, so the best thing we can do is focus on what? The Most High. That's going up the ladder. If we focus on these women, we're going down the ladder. Me, myself, I fall victim to it too. All right, you begin to focus on your wife, trying to correct her and try to get aligned with them and all these different things. And it's better, or you might want some box from your wife, some intimacy. But honestly, that shows weakness. Who does it show it to? The women? Who cares about all that? It's about to the Lord, to yourself. All right? So the Lord is moving us away from that weak nature of being in need. We're going to get everything from the Lord, man. Even like Adam, he got Eve from the Lord. You want some box? Okay, I'm going to get one for you. See, we got to trust the Lord for it. Isaiah 4:1. All right? So don't spend all your energy on sex and all your money on women. See that? They have destroyed kings, man. Okay? So, and it's just a warning about distractions that can compromise leadership and good judgment. All right? And that's what a lot of us are being called to, leadership and making good judgment in life. And you're dealing with a woman, she'll leave you to have low self-esteem, that you're trying to impress her, or get some attention, and they just hold it like it's power. So we got to trust the Lord and move where he calling us to the top of the mountain, like Moses. We gotta let go. We say let go and let God. All right, he's going to correct the women. Um, so give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. So a lot, paying for sex, going out trying to find sex everywhere, uh, trying to impress these women, right? Paying for alcohol, okay? Drinking all the damn time, that takes your energy. It takes your focus off. It even have you depressed or overly emotional or irrational or acting off an impulse, okay? So it says, don't spend all your energy on sex and all your money on women. They have destroyed kings, man. Okay? So, yeah, it's a dangerous game to play. Well, I'm going to get this real quick. Here you go. This is Sirach 9:8. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, because beauty fades away. All right? And even their energy, they be all nice and trying to woo you and act all dainty. But down the line, the scriptures say their spirit changes like a bear, right? And I heard Mike Tyson say one time, he said, yo, when you get in a relationship, you basically entering war. It's going to be a peace treaty or not. All right? It's a spiritual battle that you'll go through. Matter of fact, let's go up further. What do I want? Nah, I'll just use this one. That's all I want. All right. Verse 7. No, verse 6. Give not thy soul unto harlots, man, that thou lose not thine inheritance. All right. So you may have a wife, and she may not be in that harlot spirit, but she's with you, but she's not being intimate with you. So what a lot of people do, they go out in the streets and look for it. That's putting you in a dangerous situation. One, you can get locked up, paying for it. Two, you can get some damn disease or some shit, or a woman set you up. It's so dangerous out here nowadays. We gotta trust the Lord. Become that beacon that draws in certain things that we can push away or reject. Like, a bunch of women start popping up, then you can say, all right, I choose you or not. But if we're going out searching for it, we're overextending our energy and our soul, man, in this place, man. Moving off distractions. When we was younger, we called ourselves players, but we was really playing ourselves. Look back on it. I remember when I was in high school, I used to rush home with a couple of my friends in Philly, and we would put all our phone numbers on the table that we got, because that was back when the two-way pages, regular pay phones or house phones. You just get on the chat lines, and you'll try to you'll go home and see who got the most numbers. But really, a lot of them numbers was demons and harlots. Might have been some good ones up in there, but you look back on it, man, where did it get you? And a lot of people are sleeping with the enemy now. They don't even know it. It's like you become strangers in the same damn house. So the scriptures say, give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance, man. So we got to keep that leadership. We got to keep ourselves in order. Let everything be done decently and in order. All right. So we got to keep ourselves focused and make sure we're not in a position where our judgment could be swayed. That people waiting to use it against you, to hold it against you. Why? You feel me? Because a lot of them are insecure themselves, have low self-esteem, and they see you elevating, then they learn they got to elevate too, and they may not be ready. So they want to keep you right where you're at. All right. So, so we don't want to have miscalculated judgment while being drunk or chasing after these women. All right. Or moving in anger or whatever. So give not thy soul unto harlots, and that thou lose not thine inheritance. Look not around about thee in the streets of the city, Neither wander thou in the solitary place thereof, man. Now, if it's a woman in the truth, that's different, man. But a lot of these women, but if it's a woman in the truth and they trying hard, this same scripture, well, the last scripture I just had, it tells you about a virtuous woman. A lot of women should read that in the translation. And try to line up with it the best of your ability without reading it with pride. All right, but so it said, look not round about thee in the streets, man. You got to get a stray cat. Some of them may have fleas, so you got to be careful. All right. Look not about thee in the streets of the city, or you might sleep with somebody's wife, don't know it. Neither wander thou in the solitary places thereof, man. All right, out there looking for some box. Yeah, you can meet some women. You might step out here and there and meet some women. That's different. But he's saying don't chase it. Don't be like overly obsessed over, addicted. And that's what the Lord is helping us battle: addiction, vices, fiending. Which goes into like demon. Same thing. All right, being obsessed with something. We're supposed to be obsessed with the kingdom. Like what's his name? T.C. What's his name? Something Fletcher. C.T. Fletcher. He said it got to be a magnificent obsession. All right, my magnificent obsession. So, all right, so sit not at all. No, turn away thy eye. Damn, what's car? Turn away thy eye from a beautiful woman. All right, so it's smart to just not even be deceived by their beauty, man. And a lot of these women get power from their beauty and their booty. And they'll wheel you in, but really they have intentions or no plans at all, or they demons, or you think they nice because they're beautiful. I told my son that the other day. I said, yo, there was a cat outside running around. I said, yo, if you feed that cat, it ain't gonna go away. It'll be meowing all night. And he understood. I said, because everything that's cute doesn't mean it's nice or not a nuisance. Just like a woman pretty, that don't mean she has a pretty spirit. A lot of these women are masculine, because of the women's liberation. So they'll start to work. They'll be working like the scripture said, virtuous woman supposed to, and they start blaming you for them having to work. But at times when us being men in this truth, we're gonna have jobs and lose them, have jobs and lose them. So a woman got to be solid, man. She got to be spiritually connected to you to not turn against you. All right, and we can't look for it. We got to trust the process. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman. Okay. Why? Because most of the men probably had her, man. Face just didn't change. Her body been corrupted, and her soul is corrupted. Or maybe she's a good person, but the Lord's saying, nah, man, desire him. Desire the kingdom. So turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, right? You can't judge a spirit by looking at her face. Right? You got to judge them by the fruit that they bear and the actions. The scripture tell you about a virtuous wife. And just because a woman goes to work don't make her virtuous. It's about how she treats her husband. Also. All right. For herewith love is kindled as a fire, man. That way they have something called work husbands. And we had to be careful. You'll see a woman and you like, damn, she bad. But what comes next, bro? I'm a player. I don't care. Shit, nah, bro, you're going to get pulled in. Your heart going to get involved at some point. So the Lord saying protect that. That's all. Not saying you can't sleep with a wife. He said if you burning in basically lust and you with desire and you have a wife, you have not sinned. He's just saying, hey man, just be careful. And this ain't the time for all of that. Not by the woman's choice. You feel me? A lot of women like, right. See, I've been telling you not to have sex with all that. No, it's not your choice. My body, my choice. You know how they say? But it's about the man. All right. We got to choose greater. We got to keep looking up the ladder. Jacob's ladder, right? Sit not at all with another man's wife. See, a lot of women like to chill around men, thinking they cool. But really, you're not supposed to sit with another man's wife, man. Right? You can't be friends with her. Y'all got two different body parts and two different type of brains. So you're not equal. And it shouldn't be friends. You know, business is business. Peace is peace, but you're not supposed to sit and have a drink with her, chilling with him, chatting with her. And spend not thy money with her at the wine. You know, be out drinking and you see somebody's wife. You want to have a drink? That's it right there. Love is going to be kindled. Lest thine heart incline unto her, and so through thy desire thou fall into destruction. See? So, sin is not sin unless it takes root and the action happens. And you start to fall to those desires. And that's when, as the scripture said, give not thy strength unto women, and thy ways unto that which destroyeth kings. All right? Because that desire could lead you to destruction. So what does it mean? Man, look, we're in a great situation to calm the fire, to calm our desires, to take the reins of our desires, man. And in the kingdom, we're going to get it all back, just like Solomon. We got to desire wisdom, and the Lord going to give us everything else, even kingdoms to rule. All right? Lest thine heart incline unto her, and so through thy desire, that's the problem, thou fall into destruction. All right? Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him. A new friend is as new wine when it is old. Thou shalt drink it with pleasure, So a new friend, you got to take time to get to know these people, just like a female. You have to give time to get to know her. And then you can taste the wine, Or even with a brother, at the years of knowing that person, then you can kind of relax and say, "Hey, that's my brother," and reap the benefits of brotherhood. All right? Or just like with your woman, it takes time, man. My dad used to tell me, he said it takes 6 months to know a person. I think it's longer than that, but he was kind of right. After about 7 months, you start seeing the attitudes change, or you have a dispute or something with your wife. But again, this ain't to blame the women on this lesson. The focus is the men of how to become chaste and control our desires. All right, because this is not the place to have desires. It says polluted; it shall destroy you with the sword of destruction. Should you never have sex though? Hey, that's up to you. But should you be out here chasing it, or getting weak, or sad, or stressed out over it because the woman just pull it away from you? No, man. And then you start to ask for it or tell her about it, and she start getting mad at you or look at you like you weak. Nah, bro. It's better to just desire the kingdom, desire greater things, and invest your money into your household and into your business, into the truth and into you. You pour out yourself into everybody, but you forget to be your own superhero. So, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end, right? You see a lot of people on streaming, a lot of people streaming, man, on these internet websites, and you'll see them with a bunch of women, houses full of women, these celebrities with women, but they all passing each other. I got her next. I got her next. You know, so uh, delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. Man, so check this out. All right, I'm gonna end it with this. This is 1 Corinthians 7:27. All right, this is gonna break it down. What I just read. Art thou bound unto a wife? So if you already, because y'all bound once you get intimate or have sex with a woman, y'all are bound. You know. Um, and then you have certain duties as a wife that you're supposed to do with your husband. And when them duties don't get met, we can't get weak. You know, we gotta be willing to walk away or willing to abide with her, but just grow. You know. And again, they wrong for that. If a woman pulls away from you intimately, um, but are we supposed to sit there and wait? Or are we supposed to start begging them and chasing her? No. Or arguing with her, you know, and they'll never understand. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Right? You ain't gotta try to leave her and break up with her, even though they be tripping sometimes. Art thou loosed from a wife? So if you don't have a wife, you see the detail there. It's basically telling you your desires. All right, if you got a wife, don't be afraid, don't run away and try to get away from her and all that. You know, that don't mean you can't take on another wife, right? But it's just about going out and chasing it. Or, you know, you don't have to run. But if you are loose from a wife, see, you don't have to force yourself to be loose, but or unbound from her, you know. But if you're already loose and you out here free, man, this is one brother, young brother in the camp, and he kind of followed the instruction with that, man. Just enjoying himself, traveling, right? But you know, you got to teach more. But you know, you see the younger brothers out here, man. They um, they may be single, and then you'll tell them, hey, man, be careful. And they say, you know, they'll pop the woman and come right back to you and got her pregnant. I told you, chill, bro. Hey, scripture say you're gonna have trouble in the flesh now. You see that? In this flesh, we're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have emotions, you're gonna be confused and shit, anger, you know, jealousy sometimes. You know, the woman may envy you, you may be kind of resentment toward. Who knows, man? You know, after y'all get out of the bed, you still got to deal with each other. But if I believe this, if both or all, because you know, some men have multiple wives, but if all in this situation that's under Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, if that household is rooted in the truth, then if all sides are looking for peace towards each other, then that's all that's really needed at this point, you know, to continue in the work. But and if thou marry, so it says, seek not a wife if you're loosed, right? But if thou marry, thou hast not sinned. See, this is just moral advice, saying, hey, you ain't sinning if you get a woman. You know what I mean? But come on, bro, you can excel so much greater if you're by yourself nowadays. You know, we got your brothers, but if you have a woman, you got to try to please her desires. You know. But and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, a young woman marries and gets a husband, so like it. But and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, a young woman, if she marries, marriage means sex, she has not sinned. Okay. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. Meaning, yeah, man. See, the thing is, a woman can't be with multiple men, and if she was with a man before you, and you're in this truth, and it's sincere that you You met her years later after she had a husband. You know, you ain't like, hey, you done with your husband yet? You know. But if you just meeting her and she like, yeah, I ain't been with a man in years, like, you know. But I did have somebody before this, and you're like, all right, cool. What happened with y'all? You know, we should ask our wives that, like, what happened in your last situation? Was it you or him? And what happened? You know what I mean? You know, because anyway, make sure they're not a serial relationship killer or just blaming the man, which most likely, you know, it could have been the man too. But anyway, where was I at? Where was I at? Where was I at? It says, nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, man. Okay? Because the flesh is corrupt and it's wrestling against the spirit. All right? But this I say, brethren, the time is short. See, the time that we're in is short, man, and our time here on this earth is short. And we're sent here for a purpose, not just to be husbands. You know, Adam wasn't sent here just to be a husband to Eve. He was sent here to do the Lord's will first. That was the first thing he was sent here for. All right, and to lead humanity at that time. But he fell to the desires of his wife. All right. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that, see, both, the ones that have wives and the ones that don't, be as though they had none. All right. So the ones that have wives and the ones that don't, that both they that have wives. So like, I'm going to read that again. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. All right. So you got to be as though you have not a wife, even though you're with her. But, you know, we get weak in the flesh. You start wanting hugs. You start wanting attention, affection. And the woman like, what? What? And at some point we can't blame them. The Lord's going to deal with that. You know, hopefully he'll be merciful towards these women in that sense. But if you know, good, cool women, you feel me? That's in the truth. But where was I? It says, the time is short, and both they that have wives be as though you had none. All right. Even if you got multiple wives, you got to just focus, just work and grind, teach, go fishing, just be busy, man. Get rest, and not really trying to prick your wife's brain or correct her, get her in order, and all these different things, because that gives her power. Cause you can say, I'm over you, and she's like, no, you're not. Whoop, pull right up from under you. Then what? You gonna hit her? What you gonna do? You gonna go to jail? And then you're beating on the Lord's property, even though you call it your property. He telling you don't treat her like that. Treat her like a weaker vessel, an heir to salvation with you. That was the whole definition of Eve, the rib, supposed to be your sidekick, protecting the inner organs. You know, your mind. You know, your peace. You get what I'm saying? The ribs. That's what they do. And support. All right. If we ain't have ribs, we'll fall. So a wife supposed to be a support to you and be close to you, right? A sidekick, not the foot, not the head. Damn sure not that, but the sidekick, man, the ribs. You can have multiple ribs. All right, so support. So we gotta be as though we have none right now, and that's a tough, man. I'm speaking even for myself because that's what I've been dealing with. I've been wrestling with a lot. Seeking affection, seeking love and attention from a woman. And we had a divide. And you know, people, and this is the lesson the Lord's showing me. So I'm sharing it with y'all. And maybe some brother that's out there may be weak and misjudging things, man. All right. And the judgment should be Stop looking at your woman and look at yourself in the mirror and fix that. And if a woman's saying that, yeah, fix yourself in the mirror, just get away from her, man. But continue to look in the mirror. What's the mirror? It's the scriptures. It says, such a man looketh into it and forget what type of man he is when he walks away. So we got to keep looking in that mirror. All right, that reflection. We're trying to emulate the spirit of truth, the spirit that's from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that righteous spirit, all the way until we see Yahushai in the flesh, man. You know, and that emulation becomes perfected. So it says here, and they that weep as though they wept not, you know. So I'm taking this for myself, man. This is like a conviction lesson because I lost both my parents and I haven't been able to get over it. I know where they at. You know what I mean? I know the scriptures. I know about the spirit realm, the the reincarnation, but we still in the flesh. You get me? And you begin to wonder why it happens certain ways, and that's wrong. You gotta let that go, or the violence that you witnessed growing up domestically, all the way to the end, and you the questions weren't answered except for in the scriptures. It was under the curses, man. You know, at some point we gotta let these things go. All right. So those that wept as though they wept not what, a broken heart. All right, hey, bro, shake ourselves from the dust. You know, get up and take our place, man. Sit down upon the thrones and be kings and believe in ourselves. That, you know, believe in the potential that the Lord said we have. Believe in the process where the Lord is creating us into something better. You know. The Lord said he is faithful and true. We're looking for our women to be faithful and true. We got to blame ourselves, man, for being naive. You know, and they that weep as though they wept not, right? No depression, right? I've used this word recently and got attacked over it because I don't believe in depression. You know, rightfully so, man. You know, I don't believe in depression, but I couldn't find another word for it. It's just my spirits was low. You know, but I'm thankful I felt that so I can know what to counter now. You know, attack the devil. You hear it? And adjust those emotions, man, and fix the chinks in our armor as we're moving forward. You know, as we're being perfected, you may have weaknesses that you ain't even know is there. And it's a beautiful thing, man, the Lord fixing us. And they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not. All right, because shit can go left real quick. Don't get too happy in this damn place. All right. And they that buy as though they possess not, because everything we have is temporary here. He said, you know, what people build up in this place, the more you build in this place, you're going to lose when the destruction comes. So let patience have her perfect work. You're going to be lonely. Right? He said it's not good for Adam to be alone, but he gave us Sophia, wisdom now, the scriptures. So it's different. And we got our brothers. All right? And you may have some cool women out here too, you know. But we can't look to them for need or want. We gotta look to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He's gonna supply us with everything, make us the gold, the precious stones in that day. Fine gold. But imagine fine gold being out here begging people to pick it up and put it and believe that it's precious. No, man, it just gotta just be what it is. All right. And they that use this world as not abusing it, you know, being obsessed with it, or you say nothing exceeds like excess. You know, too much of anything can corrupt you, even money. They always say, "Give me neither poverty nor riches," you know, so that my mind don't be turned away from you. So you get too much women, too much the company of a woman, it can change your expression. Um, Even can make you feminine. It can make you overbearing as a man too. Too much testosterone, where you start to be controlling it. Not saying myself. I'm just saying in general. We had a bunch of women. Uh, it can dilute you, man. Getting pulled so many different ways. So those that use this world without abusing it, all the things he named up earlier, right? And also the wine, the women, the vices in this place, the money. You want to have money, but if you just desiring riches and chasing riches, they say what? It grow wings and fly away. You feel me? I'm a firm believer. I was a believer that if you're chasing money, it's running from you. Yeah, but I'm maturing now, so I see, hey, you got to chase it a little bit. All right. So now it says, as though they rejoice not, and they that buy. All right, here you go. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So everything here is passing away, even beauty. Right? Even the beauty of these women, it passes away. All right? But the beauty that's within us, that doesn't pass away. That continues forever. That's the word. All right? But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord. You ain't got a wife, you just a soldier out here. How he may please the Lord. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world. How he may please his wife. So that's why he's saying it's time for those that have wives, be as though you have none. So you can care for the things of the Lord. That's all he's saying. He ain't saying neglect your wife. He said those that won't take care of their children, if you worse than an infidel. So you can't let these women trick you out of your position and push you away from your children either. Because a lot of times the children will choose the mother, and we can't blame them for that. We just gotta watch, observe, and just peep game, man, and still care for our children. All right, and as scriptures speak about that, when you got two wives and you dislike one of the wives, you're supposed to treat the children the same, with love and care, being as your house shot to them. You may stumble and fall in parenting, but it's, just man get back up and fall 7 times. So that's in everything. All right, but he that is married care for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. So you're gonna be co-workers. You're gonna be working together, co-parenting, or paying bills, right? Trying to take her out. But if you just by yourself, man, you can conquer the world, man. You can conquer everything. But if the husband and wife can operate together and communicate and be friends, man, then man, that's a tag team, man. Two is always better than one, right? But the Lord works good with small numbers. All right. So this is something I wanted to read real quick. This is Proverbs 30:8. It says, "Remove far from me vanity and lies," man, because today in this society in Babylon, relationships is part of the vanity. Beauty is part of vanity. Money, vanity. Fame, vanity. All these things are temporary. Remove far from me vanity and lies, man. Even people that try to bring it to you. Falsehood. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Because even poverty can be deceiving. Are you really poor? See that? Just because this world says you created a notion of what poor is according to Esau's system, because you don't have their paper in your pocket when they're the reason the system got it like that. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Getting rid of the middle class now is just upper class, lower class, which is oppression. So are you really poor? if you got the truth and you getting your daily bread and taking care of your family, right? So give me neither poverty nor riches. All right. So we don't want to be too rich to where we become wicked and have all these crazy desires, man. Your desire is going to increase because they're going to be right there at you. You got $1 million, you can buy a yacht and a mansion. All, you know the women's going to show up. You can buy all the liquor. You want another drink? You want another drink? You want some more food? You know, but what about the teaching? All right. It says what? Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. Even with the women, give me a woman that's convenient for me. Give me a house that's convenient for me. A job that's convenient for me. Food that's convenient for me. You see that? Wealth that's convenient for you. Friends and brothers. And let the Lord build it like he was building Adam up until Adam didn't listen. Lest I be full, see? Full of what? Full of shit. Full of this world, right? He said, Jeshurun wax fat and kicked, meaning when we get rich or wealthy in this place, our heart can be turned away from our position in the Lord's service, right, and pleasing the Lord. You know, you'll try to talk to your counterpart, your woman, and you'll be arguing with her for days. In those days, you could have just been teaching instead of trying to figure each other out. It's crazy, right? So lest I be full and deny thee, right? You know, full of this world and riches and wealth and, you know, wine and alcohol, drowning our low self-esteem and, what do they call that? As they say, depression, what depression just means low energy or being lowered, you know, pressed down. Somebody pushing you down. All right. So lest I be full and deny thee and say, who is Yahweh? You know, your mind go back into the world. And you start saying, who is the Lord? Like, I'm good. I got all this. Nah, man. Or lest I be poor and steal. You see that? We don't want to be too poor to where we have to steal something and we become thieves. So you got to work. You got to provide. You know, you got to work and provide for yourself first. And you providing for yourself should provide for your children and your household and your woman. You know, but in this society, the curse is on the man and the woman. So the man and the wife should be working. All right. And if one loses, you know, their bond shouldn't break. If one loses a job or a position in this society, man, vanity. But the bond between the man and the wife, that's a real thing. But whose wife shall she be in the spirit world? So is it vanity here? You see that? So we shouldn't get caught too much up into it. All right. Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of Yahweh in vain. All right. So I'm going to go back right here where it says the scripture I was reading earlier. Proverbs 31, actually, Proverbs 31 and 3. Give not thy strength unto women, meaning they're just chasing after sex, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings, man. Wine and women. You know, don't be obsessed over it, man. It's time to grow and be mature and gain that peace of mind that the Lord wants us to have, man. You know, and then the women show up, hey, you might be intimate with her, but right now we gotta be on that meditation, control over our body, you know, bridling the flesh, like Paul was talking about. right? And seeing what the Lord is building us into, man. That's the beauty, all right? And yeah, you may think you lost everybody, but really everybody's losing you.